Hi everyone, welcome to this short Java tutorial. Today we're just going to take a look at an example of aggregation, and we're going to use this scenario of a kitchen, which is a classic class. We've got some attributes here at the top. We're using data hiding. We've got our constructor method here. And then we've got some sample accessor and mutator methods for these hidden properties here. So if you want to pause the video for a moment and just absorb what the kitchen class is all about. Now, what this unit is suggesting is that we've got some information here. These three properties or attributes, these are specifically about a chef. So this unit is suggesting, why don't we absorb or encapsulate these properties into another class? Why don't we're still in the kitchen class here, why don't we take those three properties and encapsulate them in the chef class and then put a chef variable into the kitchen class? That seems like quite a logical way of doing things. Then, of course, we could create an accessor method for our chef. We're returning chef, which is the data type is chef. And we could create a mutator method to change the chef in this kitchen. Right? So the principles of object-oriented programming that we've looked at before, including encapsulation with data hiding, still hold true. We've got a private variable. We've got an accessor method for that variable. And we've got a mutator method for that variable. All we have to do now, really, is go and design the chef class. And it's just a classic class. Those three properties which we saw before are now encapsulated in the chef class. We've got a constructor method, and here we've got some sample, accessor, and mutator methods for properties of the chef class. Okay. Now, to see this in action, let's jump into an IDE, just see if we can figure out how all this works. So I've already set up my project, and I've got my chef ready to go. I've simplified it a little bit. I'm just going to say that a chef has a name and an age, and we've got some accessor methods here, and we've got a mutator method for the age. We just update it by 1 every time we call this method. So a very basic chef class. And the kitchen class, of course, has a size in square meters and a chef. And when we construct a kitchen, we need a chef and we need to know the size. And these are assigned to the attributes in the class. I also have an accessor method for my chef in the kitchen, and I've got a mutator method where we can change the chef in the kitchen. Okay, so now that we've got all this, let's write a program. We're going to construct the kitchen. We're going to make the kitchen's chef's age increase until retirement. And when the chef is retired, we're going to replace the chef with a new chef. That seems pretty a real-world scenario, right? Now remember, in order to construct a kitchen, we need to go to the constructor method here. We need a chef. So this is really the first step. We need a chef first, and then we can construct the kitchen. So let's construct a kitchen. The first thing we're going to do is construct a chef. Chef C equals new chef. This is the constructor method of the chef class. I can't remember the design. Let's go back. Let's look at it. There it is. This is the constructor method. We need an integer and we need a string. So let's give it an integer. The chef today is 37 years old. And her name is Marilyn. now that we've got a chef, we can construct a kitchen. Kitchen, K equals new kitchen. This is the constructor method of the kitchen class. I can't quite remember the order of the parameters. Let's go and look at the kitchen class constructor method. The first thing we need is a chef. The second thing we need is the size of the kitchen. Well, we've got a chef. That's what C is. C represents a chef. It's a reference variable to a chef object. And let's say that the size of the kitchen is 30 square meters. Now, I'm just going to pause a minute before we move on in this program. I just want to mention something. My main program doesn't really care about the chef. I only really making this chef because my kitchen needs it. So what I could do is take this bit of code, this code that constructs a new chef, and paste it into here. So this new chef is the chef that I'm giving to the kitchen. And that means I can get rid of this line of code. Right, so there's another way of constructing a new kitchen. Now, we're going to make the kitchen's age increase until retirement. Okay, so while the chef, oh right, I no longer have a chef available in my main program. Right, there's no chef variable here. I just put it directly into the constructor method. Let's go into the kitchen class, because while K, are there any methods here that are going to help me? Yes, we can get the chef. If we call the getChef method, we get a reference to a chef object. Let's do it. While k.getChef, now k.getChef gives me a chef. So if I go into the chef class, I can see what methods are available. And the getAge method is available. Let's use it. While k.getChef, which is a chef, .getAge, I've just messed up my code. Let's just do that again. There it is. .getAge is less than 65, which is retirement age. We're just going to increase the chef's age. How can I increase the chef's age? I'm going to get my chef from the kitchen, and I'm going to see in the chef class if there are any available methods for me to use. And yes, there is. The setAge method, which increases the chef's age by 1. So let's call that method. Wow. So while the age of the chef is less than 65, we're going to be increasing the age of the chef. And we'll do a system.out.print. Another year into retirement. Okay. So by the time this finishes, when we reach this line here, we know that the chef will be 65 years old, and we're going to replace the chef with a new chef in the kitchen. So we want to change the chef in the kitchen. Hopefully there is a mutator method for this attribute. Yes, there is. If we can get a chef from somewhere, we can use that chef to replace the current chef. Okay, have a think about that. So let's use this setChef method. Before we can do that, we do need to construct a chef. So chef, new chef, equals chef, new chef. What was it's age first and then name. So we've got a new young up-and-coming superstar chef, Juan, and he's going to go into our kitchen. And now, if we do system.out.println k.getChef.getName, we can find out the name of the new chef. In fact, let's copy and paste that line of code at the very beginning here. Construct the kitchen, find out who the chef is, make the chef work until retirement, replace the chef, and then just check that we've got a new chef in place. In fact, I am going to take this bit of the code and I'm just going to put that into there. Because my main program doesn't need this. If it needed it, I would just keep it here. But my main program doesn't need to know about that. Only the kitchen needs to know. And we just need this bit. So let's run the program and see if it works. So at the beginning of the program, the chef was Marilyn, and then we went into that loop, and the chef's age is constantly increasing until 65, and then the new chef that we put in is 1. So there's some very interesting code related to aggregation, an object inside an object. Have a think about it.